We are standing right at the edge of a brand new era in artificial intelligence. Seriously, this is big. It's an era where AI doesn't just wait around for our orders, but actually starts taking the lead. So today, we're going to dive into that next great evolution, the rise of AI agents.
You know the drill, right? We've all gotten so used to this. We type a prompt into something like ChatGPT, and poof, it gives us exactly what we asked for. And don't get me wrong, it's an unbelievably powerful tool that just reacts to whatever we tell it to do. But what if it didn't need us to tell it what to do next? Imagine, instead of waiting for instructions, you could just give an AI a goal, and it would figure out all the steps to get there, completely on its own. That one little question? Well, it changes everything. And look, this isn't just about making the AI tools we have now a little bit smarter. No, we are witnessing a fundamental shift in how we even think about technology. We're moving from just using passive tools to actually collaborating with active teammates.
Here's the best way to think about it. Today's generative AI, it's like a brilliant intern. You tell it, hey, research our top 3 competitors and write me a summary. And bam, it'll do it, and do it perfectly. But an agentic AI, that's more like a project manager. You just walk in and say, improve our market position, and then it's off to the races, planning, researching, delegating, and executing a whole multi-step strategy by itself.
So what is this thing really? To get our heads around this shift, we kind of need to look at the formal definition. And this comes straight from the people doing the cutting-edge research.
Okay, so according to a 2025 paper from Bandy and his colleagues, the whole idea boils down to this. Agentic AI systems are, at their core, autonomous and goal-driven. They're not just answering one-off questions. They are designed to operate independently, sometimes for long stretches of time, all to achieve one complex objective.
And this comparison here just makes it crystal clear. You see, where generative AI is reactive, it has to wait for you, agentic AI is proactive. It makes its own moves to get closer to the goal. Generative AI is great for a single task, right? But an agent manages an entire multi-step workflow and is constantly adapting as it gets new information from the world around it.
So how do they do it? I mean, how does an agent actually think for itself and operate on its own? This is where we get to pop the hood and see what's really driving this autonomy.
It all comes down to this continuous 4-step loop. First, the agent perceives its environment. So let's say it sees a competitor launch a new ad campaign online. Second, it plans a response, deciding it needs to create a counter-campaign. Third, it acts on that plan. Maybe it starts writing new ad copy, scheduling social media posts. And finally, and this is the really important part, it reflects on the results, learns from the data, and then starts the whole loop all over again, always getting smarter.
Now, this whole loop is powered by a few key parts working together. It's got a sophisticated memory system, so it can learn from its past wins and losses. The planning module is basically its inner strategist, breaking down a huge goal like increase sales by 10% into smaller, doable tasks. And maybe most importantly, tool execution gives it hands, the ability to actually use other software, other APIs to get stuff done, like sending emails or buying ad space.
Okay, so this isn't just theory or something happening in a lab. It's already being used in some incredibly high-stakes fields. Let's take a look at where these autonomous systems are starting to make a huge impact.
I mean, we're seeing agentic AI in science labs, autonomously designing and running complex experiments that would take human scientists months. Or think about logistics. Imagine an agent managing an entire global supply chain. It sees a storm forecast in the Pacific, and on its own, it reroutes ships, reschedules trucks, updates inventories across continents, all of it in real time. The potential here is just massive. But, and this is a big but, with all this potential comes some pretty significant risk. That same 2025 research paper I mentioned, it found a really sobering statistic. 78% of organizations reported data safety problems when they tried to use these systems. See, when you have true autonomy, you get a whole new level of risk.
And that brings us to what might be the single biggest challenge of all. When an autonomous system makes a choice, who's responsible for what happens next? This is the kind of super complex issue being studied at places like Stanford's Cyber Policy Center, where they look at exactly this, the intersection of technology and society.
The researchers themselves put it pretty bluntly. When an agent does something unexpected, even the people who created it might not be able to explain why it made that choice. So who's on the hook? The user who gave it the goal? The company that built it? This lack of clarity is a massive, massive hurdle we have to figure out. So it really all comes down to this one question. As these systems grow from being simple tools into truly autonomous actors, we're forced to think differently. We're not just designing software anymore. In a way, we're designing colleagues. And figuring out how to trust, manage, and work alongside them, well, that's the great challenge and the great opportunity of this next leap in AI.